Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Talk Network channel, and specifically here tonight, welcome to Steve's Wrestling Ramble. Starting a little bit later, so I probably won't be able to have any of my guests that I hope to have on, or even my teammates. They might even be in bed already, who knows? But I'm still going to have this episode, and I did want to talk about the Royal Rumble, WWE Rumble 2019 edition. Earlier this evening, about an hour and a half ago, I finished up doing Talking Packers with Steve, talking with Conrad of Everything Wrestling Podcast and his show. And he was a great guest. We talked about our football teams, talked about the Super Bowl, who we want to see win, and everything going on. We even talked little X's and O's of the game, and as well Tom Brady's legacy and much more. So check that out here on the channel. Should be just the video right below this one here in the playlist of uploads. And then on the playlist itself of the Talking Package with Steve. Yeah. But here we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. And yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that for sure. Raw and SmackDown that happened afterwards, the aftermath of everything that went down at the Rumble. I would say the Royal Rumble was a pretty good show. It was a show that I did enjoy, and a show that could have been better in some areas, but overall was good. So that's yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways, just checking something. Anyways, it was a good show. Could have been better for a pay-per-view. In some aspects, in some areas, things could have just been better. Like, it's not me saying that, oh, just because my superstar that I predicted or maybe wanted to win didn't win. I think it was less of that than more of just could have been planned out more. Or it could have been just scripted better. Again, WWE, pro wrestling, but also sports entertainment. And with the entertainment aspect of it, you still have to have the show ebb and flow of having to have a good show, like a TV show, like a TV show episode. Let's take one of my new shows that I like a lot called Single Parents on ABC. If there were some hiccups or some storyline gaps or otherwise, I may like it less because of that fact, right? Because I'm not invested with the characters yet, or I don't feel like the writers have um, written the characters well. There's no continuation or continuality with storylines, blah blah blah, all that little integral stuff that the fans should take seriously of whether people like or dislike a TV show. And again, that's just one example. Like I said, that show called Single Parents, or a show that's been strong for years. Big Bang Theory, Last Man Standing, which moved up from ABC to Fox. It's now on the Fox network. Last Man Standing every Friday night, another episode tomorrow night. But all in all, the point is the WWE and the Royal Rumble, a TV show that is technically on the WWE network. And for those that are watching, whether you're watching live or if you're watching archived, um, maybe you should give the WWE network a chance if you want to. If you're not wanting to, or if you're not interested in pro wrestling, I understand that. But if you are, cool. And if you are interested in any reason, for any reason, whether it's because of me or just you have an interest because you came from watching a show like Total Divas that's on the E network. Either way, the WWE network has so much in its library content. It has pretty much every pay per view of its history on the WWE network because it is online. And for the WWE network, for new subscribers at any point, you get the first month free. First month, a free trial. You get a free month trial. If you want to cancel at any time, you can, and then it'll go to the end of the month, and then you don't have to worry about being billed. But $9.99 a month, stuff like that, very cheap and expensive. But yeah, it's a WWE Network. Check it out. You can check out the pay-per-views, check out what I'm talking about, have your thoughts on it. If you enjoyed it, if you're, especially if you're starting out, like if you start watching with the Rumble or whatever, and maybe you have some interest in some of the superstars, some of the things. But I just wanted to promote that and share that because I enjoy the WWE Network not just for the current pay-per-view events, but the past, like when I was younger, and the pay-per-views and shows of that time in that era that just puts a smile on my face because it puts me in my childhood, puts me back at that time, and watching it with my friends or whatever, and believing it was real at that time, being scared by Kane, WWE superstar Kane, where back in the day he was even more menacing and full suit kind of, and I mean character suit, with all pyro stuff, The Undertaker back in the day, Jericho, Austin, The Rock, all those superstars back in the Attitude Era. So, if you want to check it out, WWE Network, a simple search and find 2000 WrestleMania or 1998 Royal Rumble or whatever you want to look up. Just look up there, and you watch it in full. But yeah, I just wanted to share that because with how the shows are now and how the WWE has changed since then, and for us that have been watching for so long, already know that. But for new or younger, so not just new people watching the WWE product, but the younger people watching the WWE product, should garner an appreciation for what the WWE was back when it was WWF, the World Wrestling Federation, with the World Championship that was at that era time. And then in 2003, 2002, one of those years, of course, is when it became mainstream and it became WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, and PG and shareholders and stuff like that. Put on the stock market, publicly traded company. And with that, you have investors and shareholders to abide to a certain extent. It's no longer like the mom and pop store or the McMahon family owned business where you could literally do whatever you want under the means and laws of local, state, and federal government, of course. But in regards to wrestling, it's your domain. You do what you want to do. My point in this whole little opening ramble is that it's 2019 now. We're on the road to WrestleMania. And now I'm still hoping that there's someone out there, whether they themselves or they know a millionaire or some other person, that can help me get my spot in WrestleMania. Give me some tickets, fly me to New York, whatever, because I would love to be at a show. I've been a WWE fan most of my life, since the age of 6, 1994, and unfortunately, never been able to go to a show, whether it's a live event, a Raw show, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, or a pay-per-view. No. But I'm hoping, or was hoping, to make WrestleMania my first show. And I've never been to New York. I know people that have. I know people that live in New York. I have some buddies, me and the boys, in New York that I know. But I on my own won't be able to. I don't have enough saved up from work to pay for it myself. But I don't know, who knows? You never know. You never know who's watching or who knows who. That would be able to help out in any way, shape, or form. You just never know. Everything happens for a reason. But just sharing that because The Undertaker, will he have his last match? Will it finally be his retirement match at this WrestleMania? Who knows? Like, I would love to be able to see an Undertaker match. Or The Undertaker's entrance. Just Google. Do me a favor. After you watch this, or whenever you can, if you're watching live or archive, whatever, and you haven't seen it yet, Google The Undertaker entrance. And not entrance music, but just entrance, like an actual literal entrance to the ring. And you'll know what I mean. Yeah, it's a long one, but it's pretty bone chilling. At least for me, it's awesome. It gives me goosebumps every time, and it would be tenfold for me if you see it in person. So that's my hope to be at WrestleMania. The odds of that happening probably low, but I'm a never say never kind of person, and you never know. Someone maybe will help, or someone will be able to find another that could help you. But all in all, as I share, welcome to follow me on Twitter at Army_strong_06. Follow me here for the podcast, the Ramble _WWE. You can find me on Snapchat and Instagram at STBK_06. So let's get right into it. Let's get into the Royal Rumble and all that entailed. Because like I said, all I think the Royal Rumble was a good pay-per-view event. Again, if you are going to give the WWE Network a chance, like I said, you automatically get the first month free. All you need is an email address, a working email address, and a username and password and whatever that you create for the account, and you get a free month, free trial. For being a new subscriber, just go to WWE.com, search network or however to do it, and trust me, it'll get you there. And check out the pay-per-view. You might enjoy it. Anyways, for the Royal Rumble, we've had an impromptu match with the Raw Tag Team Champions Bobby Roode and Chad Gable defeating Razor and Scott Dawson. Kind of odd with these throwing tag teams together. We have Razor, who's half of the Authors of Pain tag team. Authors of Pain. Razor, but Scott Dawson, one half with his tag team partner. So you're throwing this tag team together just randomly because I guess why not? And I don't know how they thought that was going to work. Or was it just WWE thinking, okay, we have this much time in the pre-show, let's throw a match together. Either way, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable successfully defend. Good for them, I guess. Next match, we have Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Rusev to become the new United States champion. I'm kind of surprised by this. You gave Rusev the championship to go, and 1 month later you have him dropping it to the Shinsuke Nakamura. Then why did we give the title to Rusev in the first place? I thought we were finally going to do something with Rusev Day and that stick. Now Rusev was there, as always, accompanied by his awesome, beautiful wife, Lana, who we'll talk about a little bit later with the women's Royal Rumble match. Like I said, if you're a male watching this podcast or a female watching this podcast, I think you'll actually enjoy both Rumble matches, the women's Rumble match and the men's Royal Rumble match, and how that all entails. But anyways, Lana was out there trying to help him, and in a sense of Nakamura's attention. I can't get a sense. To no avail, Rusev accidentally bumps into Lana. Lana gets injured, and again, that plays a part for the Rumble match, the women's Rumble. And Shinsuke Nakamura kick, and then 1, 2, 3, Nakamura wins. Again, I say, why do we have Rusev? Why did we have Rusev win the United States Championship if a month later we're just going to give it right back to Shinsuke Nakamura? And then what happened on SmackDown Live on Tuesday is even more mind-blowing. But we'll get to that when we get to that. First, we're talking about the pay-per-view on Sunday. So as it stood Sunday night, Rusev left without the title, and Shinsuke Nakamura is the new United States champion yet again. Moving right along, WWE Cruiserweight Championship match, Buddy Murphy defeats Kalisto, Akira Tozawa, and Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami asked for his release actually the next day. He's been granted. He already changed his Twitter to Kenta, which is his wrestling name on the indie circuit, independent wrestling circuit. I wish him nothing but the best, but I think it was the best for him. But for the match itself, Buddy Murphy and Kalisto really wait for this match, but either way, I think it made the most sense to have Buddy Murphy retain. I think that was a good choice. Moving right along, our first female match of the night. Right? Who doesn't like the female matches, especially now as they're giving the women more storylines. They're not just as they were in the Attitude Era. Again, if you go to the W Network, check out some of the storylines that they had for the women back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Or, I don't know, just Google search Tori Wilson and Sable on YouTube or Google. You'll know what I'm talking about. The interesting, or let's just say interesting, segments and storylines. But now they're a little bit taken more seriously. You're hearing the women's movement and the evolution of women in WWE and in pro wrestling all around. They're not just, I guess you can say, models or sex symbols or whatever used for the show like they were in the past. Now they're actually being found and hired to be WWE superstars, to be actual wrestlers, to be competitive. And that's what we have. We have a crop of women now that aren't just that aren't just, pretty to look at, but actually badass in the ring. And in this match was no exception. SmackDown Women's Champion Asuka defeating Becky Lynch in the rematch. And I think Becky was going to win. Becky losing by tapping out was a little surprising, but makes Asuka's win over her even that more impressive, which will make Asuka's title reign, at least at the current moment, a stronger one in its own way. Anyways, we move right along. Then we have Shane McMahon and The Miz defeating The Bar for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I think most of us saw that coming a mile away. Shane McMahon and The Miz winning. Shane McMahon, though, with that finish, 450 splash, and actually hitting it pretty dang well, like spot on almost. He must have practiced that enough times. But Shane McMahon, Shane O'Mac, Tag Team Champion. I think it's his third title championship that he's been held. I think it was Hardcore Champion and, of course, European Champion back in the day. So cool, though. Very cool to see Shane McMahon being a champion again and seeing Shane on WWE for as long as we have, because I didn't know if he was going to stay for that long when he did return a couple years ago. Next up, another women's title match. Rowdy Ronda Rousey, defeating Sasha Banks, the legit boss, as her character is, there in that one-on-one contest. Congratulations to Ronda getting the win, heading into WrestleMania as the champion. That probably will be the case. And Sasha Banks putting up a good effort. This match was pretty dang good in the back and forth there. And kind of like, as I was talking about Brock Lesnar, Sasha Banks giving Ronda Rousey for the money and for the viewers, to make you think maybe, just maybe, Sasha Banks is going to pull this out. But in the end, it was Ronda Rousey getting the win. And then here's the women's Royal Rumble match. Becky Lynch, in the end, won the thing. And I shouldn't be surprised by that. Though I was surprised to see her coming out, which she did, and taking the place of Lana, who, again, like I said, got injured when she did that time, So it certainly was dang good. I mean, you didn't think Becky Lynch was going to take her loss to Asuka into the rearview mirror, right? You knew she was going to do something. And as she's known as the Man, decided to seize her destiny in the most opportune and way you would think her character would be. By persuading Vic Finley of all people to let her into the match after, in the place of who was number 28, Lana, at the time. So and then it was her, Nia Jackson, Charlotte Flair in the end for that chance to go to WrestleMania. Just some main things here. The number, Natalia, who entered at number 2 and lasted some 56 minutes. Number 6, Ember Moon, was right behind her with 52 minutes in the Rumble match. Surprise entrances were first time ever UK Women's Champion Rhea Ripley, who entered at number 24 and notched 3 eliminations. On occurrence, number 20 entrant Selena Vega hid under the ring to save off elimination until Hornswoggle chased her into the waiting arms of Rhea Ripley, who eliminated her then at that point, which, all these women, great superstars, not just beautiful. They really showed their talent here in the second annual Women's Royal Rumble. Well done. And moving right along here, talking about it, astonishing feats of athleticism, NXT's Casey Catanzaro, who entered at number 19, had perhaps the most amazing close call in the Royal Rumble match history when she was eliminated, kind of doing a handstand and then wrapping her legs around one of the ring posts and still in the handstand position, and then pulled herself up like a pull-up. If you can picture this, you have a ring post like this here, a circular ring post thing, and she wraps her legs around that. She's still in the handstand position from the bottom, from the bottom of the floor there. She's a tall woman. And then, like sit-up form, sits up, bear hugs the ring post, and then climbs a little bit up, moves to the side to the ring apron, and goes in the ring. So pretty athletic for her. She also was on what are those some kind of like those fitness or whatever kind of competitive shows. Like American Gladiator, but not. I don't know. But if there were any front runners to be found, was Charlotte Flair, who joined the fray at number 13 and lasted all the way to the end. Number 1 draw Lacey Evans, Tamina, and NXT Lynn, and number 30 entered Carmella and also appearance of Final Four. So that's for eliminations for Charlotte. So it was a dang good match all in all. And here's the full list for the eliminations. I'll just go this here. The first entrant was Lacey Evans. She was eliminated by Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. That's who she eliminated. Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and Liv Morgan, or Peyton Royce, and eliminated by Charlotte Flair. 29 minutes 20 seconds for Lacey Evans. Natalya, who was number 2, was eliminated by Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan. Nia Jax is who eliminated Natalya. 56 minutes 1 second for her in the Rumble. Number 3 was Mandy Rose. Number 4 was Liv Morgan. Number 5 was Mickie James. 6 was Ember Moon. 7 was Billie Kay. 8 was Nikki Cross. 9 was Peyton Royce. 10 was Tamina. 11 was Xia Li. 12 was Sarah Logan. 13 was Charlotte Flair. 14 was Kairi Sane. 15 was Maria Kanellis. 16 was Naomi. 17 was Candice LeRae. Number 18, Alicia Fox. 19, Casey Catanzaro. 20, Zelina Vega. 21, Ruby Riott. 22, Dana Brooke. 23, Io Shirai. 24, Rhea Ripley. 25, Sonya Deville. 26, Little Miss Bliss, Alexa Bliss. Number 27, the Huggable One, Bayley. Number 28 was supposed to be Lana. She was injured. Becky Lynch took her place, and who ended up being the winner. 29 was Nia Jax. Number 30 was Fabulous Carmella. That's her gimmick, her thing. So that's for the Women's Royal Rumble match. All in all, the entrance and everything, all in between. Like I said, I think the Women's Rumble match coming down to Nia Jax, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch getting the win in the end. Was cool in the end in its own right. I definitely would say. Then moving right along, we have the WWE Champion, the New Daniel Bryan, defeating AJ Styles. And that's to say this match wasn't bad because these two superstars wrestling each other is good. But everybody was just drained after the Women's Royal Rumble match, right? It's like an hour and a half of the show or so. And then you go into this match, it just was placed wrong, I guess, in that sense. Where it didn't really get too much traction. People were kind of sitting on their hands, meaning they weren't really talking. There were no chants or, really fanfare. Even people watching. I was part of a live stream that night. I just came home from work and was part of a live stream on Narcolepsy Boy 94's channel. And even we were kind of, about it. Me, because I just came from work in a long shift. Them, because they were just finished watching the entire Women's Rumble and subsequent stuff after or before that previously. But still doesn't mean it was a bad match. It just was the time it was placed didn't help its cause. That makes sense. Moving right along, we have the Universal Championship match: Brock Lesnar, the Beast. Brock Lesnar against Finn Balor. Mr. Leather Jacket wearing Finn Balor. But he's awesome. He's a superstar. And I really think that features right for him. He's the first ever Universal Champion. If you remember correctly, he did win the Universal title at SummerSlam. His go against Seth Rollins to become the inaugural champion. Got injured in that very same match and had to give up the title. So you had your inaugural champion only hold it for 24 hours. The next night he had to relinquish it to Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley, who was in charge at the time. Raw. But all in all, doing a good match, especially with the start of the match. You had Finn Balor just unloading on Brock Lesnar. Like, oh, dang, this is interesting. It's a nice change of pace. And you're actually, believing in the storytelling of Finn Balor, scouting his opponent, as they try to call it. Even though that's obviously not what it is, but just, in the storyline aspect of it. And Finn Balor's holding his own and doing well. And I thought, okay, maybe Finn could win this. Then you have the Brock Lesnar catch him in an F5 already, plant him on an ass, and so in the end, Brock Lesnar getting a win. And in a different fashion than usually F5 and pin. This time he won it in a submission move, tapping him out to the Kimura lock. So, congratulations to Finn putting up a good effort. But in the end, Brock Lesnar was the victor and is still the Universal Champion. Now that gets us to our main event, the men's Royal Rumble match. And in the end, Seth Rollins was the winner. But this whole Rumble in itself in the men's was fairly interesting. Oh, and the biggest interesting thing is, at number 30, which was already R-Truth because he won the Mixed Match Challenge, which is on Facebook Live for WWE. They had a couple months ago. Him and Carmella won, so they got to be the number 30 entrant and subsequently the women's and men's Royal Rumble match. But when he came out at number 30, he was attacked and someone else took his spot. And you know who was that? Nia Jax. So Nia Jax competed in 2 Rumble matches in the same night. The women's Rumble match and then the men's Rumble match. So that all in all was very, very interesting. I mean, you had the United Kingdom champion Pete Dunne, part of it, number 18. Or WWE champion Jinder Mahal. A lot of good ebb and flows of superstars in the ring. And the times that they were there. I mean, we had Jeff Jarrett, who was number 2. Jeff Jarrett, I know what's here Central was, he had his reaction already to the show in his reveal bit. And Jeff Jarrett being the number 2 entrant was a surprise to a lot of people. Well, certainly was an interesting surprise. And it made sense. You had Elias, who also plays guitar, opening the show. And so you think he's going to have his own little concert there. And then you have Jeff Jarrett coming out number 2. I did hear he signed a contract with WWE, so he'll be backstage and a part-time wrestler from time to time. So that's actually pretty cool. Happy to see Jeff Jarrett back in WWE, and he was in the Hall of Fame last year, but in the Hall of Fame then, and now going to be a backstage person and sometime wrestler. Very nice. So here for the superstars, 1 to 30. Number 1 was Elias, number 1 entrant. Number 2 was Jeff Jarrett. 3 was Shinsuke Nakamura. 4, Kurt Angle. 5, Big E Langston. Or Big E. 6, Johnny Gargano. 7, Jinder Mahal. Number 8 was Samoa Joe. 9, Kurt Hawkins. Number 10, Seth Rollins, who then was the winner. Number 11, Titus O'Neil. 12, Kofi Kingston. 13, Mustafa Ali. 14, Dean Ambrose. 15, No Way Jose. 16, Drew McIntyre. 17, Xavier Woods. 18, Pete Dunne. 19, Andrade Cien 20, Apollo Crews. 21, Aleister Black. If I could speak. Number 22 was Shelton Benjamin. 23, Baron Corbin. 24, Jeff Hardy. 25, Rey Mysterio. 26, Bobby Lashley. 27, Braun Strowman. 28, Dolph Ziggler. 29, Randall Keith Orton, Randy Orton. And 30 was R-Truth, but Nia Jax took his spot. So you have Nia Jax in the ring. You have women, you have the men that are still fighting in the match. And Mustafa Ali trying to be the gentleman, be like, no, I'm not gonna hit her. I'm not gonna hit a woman even in a match. So he was trying to be all nice about it, and Nia just literally threw him like a rag doll out of the match. Then you had Randy Orton about to strike with an RKO. Then she starts his plan. Rey Mysterio was going to do a 619. She catches him in midair. He was able to shimmy out of it and reverse it. And then it was Dolph Ziggler who hit her with a super kick. Rey Mysterio with a 619 for her. And then as she's staggering, Randy Orton just comes out with an RKO out of nowhere. So that sequence. And then she was finally eliminated. But it was interesting to see that happen and have Nia Jax in the men's Rumble match and have her competing in 2 Rumble matches in the same night, of course. But all in all, it was a dang good event. I certainly enjoyed it for what it was. If I had to rate it coming out of the show, I probably give it a 8 out of 10. It was a dang good show. I certainly enjoyed it. Yes, there were things that could have been improved, but all in all, I was highly entertained. And in the end, isn't that what all we want? Entertained, to be interested, to care about the stories, care about who wins, right? Especially the Royal Rumble. Like the Royal Rumble is my second favorite pay-per-view. It is the second best pay-per-view because the Royal Rumble match in itself is all intrigue of who's coming in at each interval, who's each number and each entrant, who are going to be the surprises, right? We're getting the shock and awe values, like people thinking CM Punk was going to be back or stuff like that. Who could be, right? But all in all, it was dang good, and I certainly did enjoy it for what it was. But moving on to Monday Night Raw, in its own way, it was okay. So you had Seth Rollins, who won the Rumble match. He comes out there, Triple H is telling him, hey, you're going to have to pick who you want to face at WrestleMania, since that is the prize winning by the Rumble winner. You either pick which champion you get to face, Universal Champion Brock Lesnar, or if you wish to, WWE Champion Daniel Bryan. So Triple H gave him the rest of the night, which is a 3-hour show, to the 10 o'clock hour, who you want to pick. And again, Raw and SmackDown, Raw from 7 to 10 p.m. on USA Network, and same for SmackDown. Anyways, Marshall, we could find it on a stream somewhere online. But anyways, then Dean Ambrose comes out there and wants to challenge Seth Rollins to face him one-on-one right there. Calls Triple H chuckles. And when Triple H tries to leave, he meets him there on the apron of the ring and just says, hey, do you need to get permission from your father-in-law first? And that was a good zinger because, as we all know, Triple H is the son-in-law of Vince McMahon, the owner, married to Stephanie. So that was a pretty good line, and I think Dean Ambrose delivered it well as well. Then Triple H says, get the referee out. You have Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins one-on-one. Seth gets the win with the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. So I think the Raw show, after the Raw after the Rumble kicked off in a pretty good way. And Dean Ambrose, which talk about Dean Ambrose, if he's going to leave or not, I think he's not going to. But if this is real, it was very odd and strange how it all came about. I might as well just talk about it now. It was brought up on, or first it was rumored, then it was announced that Dean Ambrose, Jonathan Good, is not going to be renewing his contract in April. WWE wishes him well and hopes that one day Dean comes back and they thanked Dean for his time in WWE and what he gave to the company. So the way they worded that statement was interesting to myself. Now, being a WWE fan and a wrestling fan for the many years that I've been, the first thing I think is, oh, it's a work. It's not real. But Dean Ambrose is a different person. And I mean, like the real man, Jonathan Good. He's not your average person. Like the things that you would think a WWE superstar would care about, he doesn't. Like the pay or something like that. A little bit, but not as much. He wants the creative control. He wants this, he wants that. His focus is different than others. He is a lunatic fringe. He is. That way. But it be what it be, and I hope that it all goes well in that way. But, oh no, we'll see where it goes with Ambrose. And I hope he stays. I hope he resigns. I hope his contract continues. But we'll just have to see. And then for the rest of Raw, we have the qualifying matches for the women's tag team match that will be at the Elimination Chamber for to renew the crown to have an inaugural women's tag team champion. But all in all, I think with these qualifying matches on Raw, they went pretty dang well. I mean, we have Nia Jax and Tamina getting a qualifying point. We have qualified in there. The Riot Squad going to be in there. Then this next Monday, we're going to find out who the final one is with Sasha Banks and Bayley in a match. I forget who they're facing, but that'll be a final one. They probably will win and be added to it. But that aspect of the show was entertaining. It was good. And then you have the end of the show with Seth Rollins and who he's going to pick. He picked Brock Lesnar, and Daniel Bryan was on SmackDown too. I don't know, or was there? I guess technically, who he's going to choose. He chose Brock Lesnar in a sense. So for Daniel Bryan, he should be defending the title inside the Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about that more when we get to SmackDown. But overall, Raw I think was pretty dang good. I like the qualifying matches for the women's tag team match. It's going to be at our WWE Elimination Chamber. We have the 3 qualifying matches and the 3 victors. Or 2 of them, I'm sorry, not 3, 2. Because there's going to be 3 representatives of Raw, 3 representatives of SmackDown Live. So in doing so, and having that to be the case, and 6 to 8 teams, instead of having all at once or whatever for each brand, they decided to do things a little bit differently. That's cool. That's fine. It's one of those, do they even have enough women to make a good tag team division? And what we saw on SmackDown Live in this respect is maybe not, at least on their side of things. Because we had Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville just announce themselves. I guess I'll already talk about that, but no, they're just announcing themselves. They did not have enough women on the SmackDown brand to put them even in a match with someone that could, quote unquote, win. Because at least on Raw, in your matchups, though we kind of know who was going to win these matchups and win, it still is at least interesting to see it unfold. I guess is what my point is. But it is what it is. They decided to go with it, and they're going to have these tag team championships, which actually look pretty dang good. We'll see how that all goes. And as for SmackDown Live, the SmackDown after the Royal Rumble, champion Daniel Bryan, it's going to go on there. He's going to be defending his title in the Elimination Chamber, and he'll be going up against Samoa Joe, Mustafa Ali. So I'm kind of happy to see him in the match. Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton. 6 men in the chamber, announced by Triple H on the Titantron. So we have that set up for Elimination Chamber in regards to the WWE title situation. Daniel Bryan also debuts this created championship, the new WWE championship for the new Daniel Bryan, right? It looks kind of weird, but it also looks cool. It looks cool because it's different, but it looks weird because of its look. But again, not terrible. I don't know how long they're going to run with this. It's not going to be like the spinning belt title, where it was made for John Cena. But technically, there was a spinning belt one for Edge too. And then after Edge, it went back to a championship look, an undisputed title, and then back to the WWE title, and the lineage of the WWE Championship. So whenever Daniel Bryan truly drops it, even if he ever wins the title back again, he'll go back to the WWE look. I mean, not the WWE look, but I mean the main WWE Championship look is what I meant. But still a cool thing for him. Like for Naomi, the glow stuff and the light up title belt, the time she was champion, that was cool too. Because that was specifically for her. Then also, like I said, for SmackDown, we had Mandy Rose, the beautiful Mandy Rose, by the way, and Sonya Deville just announced they're going to be part of, or be a SmackDown rep, one of the SmackDown representatives for the women's tag team title match at Elimination Chamber. You know, a lot of people don't like Elimination Chamber or that type of match. I actually enjoy it. I like some other Superstar kind of matchups, and especially with the Chamber of, you know, who's going to come out when and this and that, like those little things I like and enjoy. So I'm already seeing how this card is going to be stacked, and I think it's on face looking like it's going to be actually good. And I hope it is. I really, really do. But then again, that's just me. But then again, that was just SmackDown Live. You know, other things that happen, but not too much of substance. Well, actually, no. Another thing of substance. Wow, I can't believe I forgot this. But Shinsuke Nakamura comes out, and you have R-Truth. You know, coming out, be whatever. Wanted to face him, get a title match, and you know, being R-Truth and getting a title match. And in the end, R-Truth wins. It's like I step away to get myself something to eat. I come back, and R-Truth is celebrating with Carmella winning the title. And then Rusev comes down to get a title match, and then he successfully defends it in the same night, in the same segment, in a sense, with the match. So that's actually pretty cool. R-Truth, the new United States champion. I can dig that for sure. I don't know for how long it'll be, but I dig. But in all, a pretty good week of wrestling, good pay-per-view, and I look forward to seeing how everything else moves forward here on the road to WrestleMania. Trust me, next week, I probably won't have guests, but next week I'm going to start something different in regards to my preparation for the show. So you'll see how things are going to be a little bit different in that way, not in anything like visually or, you know, no desks or nothing like that. In that sense, I'll change, but let's just say I got some good advice here earlier tonight, and how I'm going to be doing the show for next week and moving on. We'll just put it at that. You'll see it in the content part of it, then in the aesthetics, visual, audio, that sort of style of it. That stuff is staying the same. But either way, I just wanted to talk about all that stuff, especially with Dean Ambrose. I do hope that he stays. Just was kind of interesting with the way that was worded with the press release from WWE. Could be a work. I would love to see Triple H, Dean Ambrose. That Roadblock title match was pretty awesome. And also subsequently, I was watching videos on YouTube, like his best moments, funny moments, this and that. It's like, you have a gem there. And for Dean Ambrose, again, maybe this is something he doesn't think about or care about because he's a different cat, he's a different person, especially with the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast he was a part of. You saw that side of Dean Ambrose, and maybe WWE at that point realized we have an interesting person on our hands. And I mean the person, not just the character Dean Ambrose, but the person Jonathan Good on our hands. And how he was just so timid and he seemed shy. Maybe not shy, but you know, just doesn't like to talk to people too much, kind of like a Brock Lesnar. And Austin was kind of ribbing him, and Ambrose wasn't taking any of it. He didn't like that too much. And it just seemed like from that point, things just changed for him. He was WWE champion at the time. That's why he was on the podcast. If he wasn't WWE champion, I don't know if he ever was going to be. But at least on the network. But all in all, Ambrose had a great career. And if it is going to be the end of WrestleMania for now, then that's fine. I wish him the best. But all in all, good week of wrestling. And look forward to next week to another episode. And as we slowly get to WrestleMania, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you all that watched live or watched archive. Welcome to leave a comment in the comment section below. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or otherwise, to the weather in your area. Above all else, as always, take care.